So you've fallen in love with a projector in their human design, and now you want to know how to make them happy, how to best support them, and how you can create a beautiful, nourishing relationship with them. In this video, I'm going to break down the 3 most important things to consider when entering a relationship or starting to date a projector in their human design. And so let's get into it. I'm super excited. I'm a projector myself, so I know what I'm talking about. Welcome to the Human Design Portal, your safe space to decondition and attract the right people, opportunities, and abundance into your life. If you're new here, my name is Maika Gabriela, and I am a human design reader, a deconditioning expert, and the founder of the Transformational Human Design Certification. And I will serve you all the tips and tricks and tangible tools so that you can create a life to remove resistance and find flow. I'm super excited to get into this video because you guys have been asking for it. You want to know how to treat a projector, how to flirt with a projector, how to date a projector, and how to create a beautiful, uplifting, inspirational relationship with a projector. So I'm a projector myself, and I know a little bit about what it is to love a projector and to be loved as a projector, and the things that are most important for us to be able to open up, for us to be able to be of service for the relationship. And I can't wait to get into the details and the nitty-gritty of energetic authenticity, the dynamics, and so much more. Let's dig deep. So I'm going to break this down into 3 different categories. The first category is dating. I'm going to tell you how you can approach a projector, how you can kind of like make a move on a projector, how to initiate a relationship with a projector, and creating an invitation for the projector. The second is going to be hurdles, obstacles, moments of, conflict. How can we really support a projector that is maybe not aligned? How can we move through resistance in a relationship if we're in the dating stages or if we are already in a relationship with a projector? How can we support them so they can be the best versions of themselves? And lastly, I'm going to talk about the most important things to consider when entering a relationship or having a long-term relationship with a projector so that you can really be a force of, love, supportive energy, and just really know how to love a projector in the best way they need to be loved so that they can, love you back in the best possible way. Dating. So here's the thing. Whether the projector that you're in love with is female or male, they need to wait for the invitation. And if they are smart and they're watching all these videos, but if they know about energetic alignment, oftentimes people don't even have to know. Their life experience will teach them what works and what doesn't work. Very often, especially because of heteronormative societal terms, we're going to see that male projectors are going to have a harder time dating because society tells them they need to initiate, right? They need to take the lead. And they can take the lead, but they can't initiate. And so what's going to happen is that the projector male, so if you're in love with a projector who's a guy, you gotta make it so clear and so obvious that you're interested in them. I don't know why projector men, unless you're like nearly blatantly telling them that you're into them, it's really hard for them to know if there's an invitation or if there's not an invitation. And so if you are into a projector male, be very flirty, it doesn't need to be aggressive. A lot of projector males can feel overpowered by very strong manifesting gender energy, very strong manifestor energy, because it is dominant. And then they feel like they don't have a choice. And then they feel like they're being taken out of their natural masculine energy as men, even though their energy is female because they are projectors, and that when they move through life, they can still be very masculine men. And so it's important to understand that we do not want to emasculate projector males. What we want to do is to be very subtle, but very clear that we have romantic intentions about them. We have to really be able to recognize them. And by recognizing them, you can do that by making compliments. You can do that by showering them with words of affirmations. You can do that by asking them for their opinion. All of these things, female or male projectors, it doesn't matter, but that's the way that you start the flirting process. If you want a projector to know that you're into them, no matter if this is a girl or this is a guy, shower them with compliments, ask them about their opinion. That's their favorite thing. involve them in decisions that you have to make. Recognize them. Allow your creativity to move with this concept of like, what can I do all the time to make it very clear to them that I'm recognizing them. And then you can always invite them. That is like one of the most beautiful things you can do, is inviting them. And it can be an invitation that isn't like a hard thing, like, oh, do you want to go on a date? Because again, we don't want to take the male projectors out of their masculine energy. For females, it works great. Please be direct. I want to take you on a date. Invite them. I want to invite you to this event. You can use the language, and even though they might not know that they're projectors, or maybe they don't have that much awareness about what it means to be a projector, there's something within us that resonates deeply with the language. And so if you have a crush on a female projector, be very clear in inviting them, in, reaching out invitations, recognizing them, showering them with loves of affirmations. And for males, it's the same. We just have to be a little bit more careful, because my feedback from male projectors is that some women are too direct, and those are manifesting generators and manifestors, and then they feel emasculated, and then they kind of like get turned off by the situation. So being very subtle, being very sensitive, being very soft, but making it very clear that you're into them. Let's get into part 2, what is going to be the hurdles. You will notice that something is not flowing with your projector love when you're noticing bitterness. And so there's 2 things that can happen. You can have them in a state of bitterness because they're not aligned and they're frustrated with their life and they're frustrated with their work. They're bitter with their work and they're bitter with their life. And so they're constantly complaining and they're constantly pointing at other people and they're constantly saying how much they know and other people have no idea. This is a very typical bitter behavior, right? And for that to show up in a relationship, I think is going to be more complicated because it is more about the projector lying to their energetic authenticity. And so as a partner, even though you know that they're projectors, you can always just live by example and, be open to exploring human design and just living your best life. And then they will get curious and will want to know more. Works way better than telling them what they're meant to be doing. But if you have bitterness in the relationship, or if you're in the dating phases and like the honeymoon is over and, there's these moments of conflict, it's really important to understand that there's nothing that the projector is going to appreciate more than pure honesty and clear communication. Because projectors have a penetrative aura, they're constantly looking for closeness. They're constantly looking to go deep. They want to have the one-on-one conversation. So if you're dating a projector, it's going to be incredibly important to have conversations, to be open, to be vulnerable, to really connect and create intimacy. Because that is a natural way that the projector will connect with you. So because this penetrative focused aura that projectors have, they're going to want to get to know you really deep to your core. And everything that differs from that, anything where you're trying to be avoidant, anything where you're trying to move out of their, natural grasp on your soul is going to create friction. You can't really lie to a projector, and projectors will take it very personally if you're not honest and you're not vulnerable and you're not open, because you want it or not, the projector's aura is going to see you. So just know that if you're entering a relationship, it doesn't even have to be, it could be a situationship, it doesn't really matter. The moment that you enter in the closeness of their energetic body, you're going to be fully naked and seen to the bottom of your soul. So you better come prepared if you fall in love with a projector, because once you have been seen by a projector, it's going to be hard for you to move on. I'm just putting it out there as a little warning. Okay, so you've mastered the dating phase. You've actually been able to seduce a projector, which means a lot because projectors have very high BS detectors. So you have been able to seduce a projector. You have been able to open yourself up so that they can see who you truly are, and they like what they've seen. And now you're ready to take the next step and you want to be in a relationship with a projector, or you are already in a relationship with a projector. So these are things that are incredibly important to take into account. We can use them also for the dating phases. It doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to create 3 structures to have a little bit of a sense of where we're going here. Okay, so you've made it into the serious relationship or long-term relationship phase. Could be that you're in the beginning of that, but the intention is there to create a long-lasting, beautiful, supportive relationship. Here are things that are important to understand. Projectors are not lazy. Projectors often feel lost, often feel like they don't know what their niche is, and just don't have the energy that other energy types have. And so because projectors have to wait for the invitation, one of the biggest things that I see that is a conflict in relationships is partners not understanding that projectors can't just start working, can't just start something, right? We see often our projector partners being in a place where they don't have clarity, where they feel lost, where they're not making money, where they're struggling with their self-worth because they know they have so much to give and they see everything so clearly, but they don't have the capacity to actually move into action. And action, ladies and gentlemen, is the universal law of success. So if you are in a relationship with a projector who's feeling lost, who doesn't have clarity, it's going to be something that unless they start really digging deep into who they've come to be, this is really something where they're going to have an incredible amount of support. And I want to say that no matter how clearly you see them and their capacity, they see that as well. It's not that they don't know what they're capable of. It's that because their strategy goes against what, society expects from us, projectors can be struggling a lot with their life in general until they find their path and then they have the success. We need to take into account projectors' energy levels. Projectors won't be able to keep up with you for forever. And it's important to understand that projectors are not going to be the big doers. And I say this especially if you are a woman who is expecting your man to do all of the things for you, which is usually the heteronormative dynamic between females and males. If the woman is in her divine feminine and the man is in his divine masculine. What happens is that because male projectors, their innate energy is feminine, it's going to be harder for them to lead a woman, especially if that woman has strong masculine energy. It can work in a really harmonious way for manifestor females and male projectors, for example, because that is when the female can initiate and the female can be in her power and the projector can be in their feminine energetic power. This doesn't mean that male projectors are feminine, not at all. Like I know incredibly very masculine projectors, but there is still this innate undercurrent energetic that they don't have the power to initiate and take charge of their life and of different things in the same way that other energy types can. Once they have mastered being a male projector, things completely shift because then all doors are open. And you can see this with projectors who are successful in their life. And so not having the amount of energy, so they won't be able to do all of the activities, all of the travels, all of the, they will need their time to rest. And giving them time to rest is going to be very important. For projectors, it's going to be incredibly important to continuously have respect for them and continuously ask their opinion on things. And I said this before in the dating, but I think that this is like one of the most important things is that projectors need to feel admired. They need to feel like they are seen for who they are. They need to be recognized for the gifts that they have. And the moment that that switches in the dynamic of the relationship, or the moment that that changes, the bitterness of the projector is going to be so palpable that it's going to be really hard to move out of that. So if you are in a relationship with a projector, really make sure that their opinion, their point of view, their way of moving through life is being recognized. And therefore, it's really important to know that you're dating a projector, because you cannot use them or you cannot put them on the standard that other energy types work, right? You cannot compare them to how they're doing that or they're doing it, because they have this very unique way of moving through life. And so if we're trying to tell them like, oh, you should initiate more, or you should do this more, you should do that more, they just don't have the capacity because energetically that is not aligned. And so you have to be okay with that being the truth, right? And there's a whole slew of projectors. And so if we have an energetic projector, we have a projector with a defined ego and defined root, like they will have more strength than a classic projector, for example, right? The classic projector is going to be slower, it's going to be softer, it's going to have less energetic dominance and less energetic powers. So just to be aware that in the chart, there can be a lot of different cues that will help us, right? If we have a projector who has channel 31-7, like they are meant to be in a position of leadership. They will carry leadership and responsibility with more lightness. So I don't want this to be like a narrow view and perspective of the projector, but I really want you to take that into account in your dating, especially a male projector. The catch-22 here is that female projectors are going to be the epitome of, feminine energy. They're going to need to wait for an invitation. They're going to, rest in their feminine energy, being taken care of, wanting somebody to lead them, wanting somebody to do the hardship for them so that they can relax in their beautiful feminine energy and open up and receive and give their guidance, right? And I think that that is such a beautiful way to see the masculine and feminine energy, especially if you're dating or you're in love or you have a crush on a female projector, is that the moment that you are protecting her, the moment that you are taking care of her, the moment that you are allowing her to rest, which is what projectors need, she is going to be able to offer her vision, her guidance, her protection, her vision of who you are, what you've meant to do, and will be such an incredible, abundant resource for the partner to move forward in their life, because the projector will always have their back, right? And so it's a very interesting dynamic once we go into a relationship, and also really important to understand what our desires are. What are your true, authentic, core desires? And I'm just going to throw in my personal story here, because it took me a very long time to understand how I operate and how I want to operate and what I expect in a relationship. And because for so many years of my life, I was acting as a manifesting generator and not as the projector that I am, I also attracted relationships where I wasn't in the energetic dynamic that actually feels the best to me. And now, knowing that I'm a projector in my human design, knowing that I have this very divine, strong, feminine energy that I've always had and I've always exuded, but really like owning that that's who I've come to be, and that that's okay for me to be, that I do not have to do things if the other person isn't capable, really allows me to open up to the life that I want to be living. And my formula is not going to work for all energy types, and it's not necessarily going to work for you, but it's just important if you want to start having like an energetic perspective of how dynamics work. The female projector is always going to be more in her feminine energy and is going to have an easier time being in a feminine energy than the male projector, because there's so high expectations of men and how they're meant to show up in their divine masculine. And so because projectors have an innate feminine way of moving through life, there can often be some kind of block and some kind of obstacle that doesn't allow the male projector to fully step into the responsibility of being in their divine masculine. And I think that I'd really love to hear your opinion if you've dated projector females and projector males in the comments below, to let me know what your experience has been on how they've showed up in the relationship and how authentic that felt. I hope this video was helpful, and if you want to know more specific things and more details on what it is to fall in love with a projector, how the chemistry works with projectors, or anything else, let me know in the comments below what you want me to talk about. It always helps me to keep fresh and inspired. And as always, if you found value in this video, please send it to whoever you think could use this information. And again, subscribe, like this video. It helps me so much. You really have no idea what that little minute that you have to like press all of the buttons helps me grow the channel, put the information out there. And thank you so much for watching. Remember, I don't care what anybody says. I love you.